If I had to restart lifting today after 10 years of consistency, this is how I would run it. So my first thing is I would recommend, I'm talking a complete beginner, you've never trained at all whatsoever. I believe a complete beginner should start off with calisthenics. I started off doing, my whole training journey started because my middle school football coach told us we should be doing 100 push-ups a day. And at first it was difficult doing like 10 sets of 10 just through the course of the day. But eventually it was like 2 sets of 50 and I was ready to start lifting at that point. But if you can't move your own body, for the most part, you shouldn't be lifting, in my opinion. So starting with calisthenics if you're completely new, but if you have a little bit of a lifting background or any sort of training background, you can skip this part. All right, so I'm gonna start off with some more things that I did correctly at the beginning of my lifting journey. So first was focusing on compound movements over isolation exercises, focusing on the squat, the bench, the deadlift, the overhead press, and all of these can be with a barbell, with a dumbbell. I'm not necessarily talking like straight up powerlifting meet style movements, but simply doing compound movement type of exercises is the key to building strength and muscle. Isolation comes later. Next is placing a very high level of value on technique. Having good technique with these compound lifts create quality movements, and you would end up hitting the correct muscle group and keeping yourself safe and injury free while doing so. And so my recipe early on, like I said, focusing on compound movements, I believe in using barbells, dumbbells, and calisthenic exercises should be what you're doing. Like, cables can come later on, machines can come later on, but from the jump, when you're a beginner and you're not doing that much lifting volume, because you should not be doing that much lifting volume because you'll overtrain, you should be focusing on what moves the needle, and that's compound movements with barbells and deadlifts and calisthenics, push-ups, pull-ups, squats, whatever, body weight stuff comes in handy. There's really 3 splits I ran as a beginner. When I first started off, I was doing full body, which that's cool if you're doing full body. I would recommend doing that 3 times a week. If you're running upper lower, I would recommend going to the gym 4 times a week. And if you're running push pull leg, I would and then the last one was a combination of push pull leg and upper lower. So it would be push pull leg and then jump straight into upper lower, versus if you're running upper lower, you want to go upper lower, rest, upper lower. That rest day in between is crucial for recovery to be able to hit that second set of upper lower. Something I realized early on is that bro splits are a bunch of BS. Like, literally, hold on, let me look up what the bro split is. Yeah, the bro split is a pile of crap. Like, this might work for bodybuilders that are like on all kinds of juice, but for a natural beginner, you should not be hitting chest, then back, then shoulders, then legs, then arms. You should be hitting chest, shoulders, and tricep should all be together. Back, biceps should all be together, or you can just hit it all together as an upper body lift. And then legs. If you split it into specific muscle groups, well, not muscle groups, if you're targeting singular muscles, you're gonna overtrain the muscle. If you're doing bench press, and then you're hitting incline, and then you're hitting flies, and then you're hitting whatever other chest exercise, that is too much volume for one day. That is too much chest volume for one day. Your chest is gonna be sore for a week and a half, and it's literally just a recipe for overtraining in a single day or undertraining for a week. All right, so now that I got the training portion out of the way, I'm gonna get into some habits that were key in building as a beginner. Too many people do the whole bulk cut thing. Again, that works for professional bodybuilders. They bulk up to well over 300 pounds, and they're a little fluffy, and then they cut down and they're chiseled. But again, we're not bodybuilders and we're not on steroids, we're naturals. So Natural should lean bulk. Like, you should be bulking 10, maybe 15 pounds up, and you should not be eating a seafood, eat food diet. You should still be eating clean. Just eat a little bit more. You should be bulking up to the targeted weight, maintain, get lean at this weight, don't go on a cut. You should bulk, maintain, and maintain this weight until you become lean at this weight. You might have to adjust your diet, you might have to do some things. You might have to do some things a little bit different, but get lean at this weight, and then once you do, you're ready to bulk again. And just rinse and repeat. Bulk, maintain, bulk, maintain. That's the key to having a super lean muscular physique at all times. Next is consistency. This is a given. You can't get good at anything if you're not consistent at it. That goes for anything in life. So you need to be committing. You need to commit to the gym. It's that simple. Like, you can't show up for a month. I know New Year just happened. Today's January 7th. So you got all the New Year resolutioners. Don't be one of those people that leave the gym by February. Like, you need to get on this thing and stick to it for the long term. Honestly, for your whole life, stick to this thing. Make a commitment. Another amazing habit, this kind of is a training habit, but warm-ups. You must be doing warm-up sets, especially at the beginning of your workout, but honestly, with every single movement, you should do a super light set of the movement that you're doing before you start your working sets. So like, if I'm benching, I'll hit 130, like, if I'm benching and I'm not going super heavy, I'll do a set of 135, a set of 225. I'll do a set of like 6 reps at 135, a set of 2 or 3 reps at 225. I'll hit my shoulder warm up that I do with plates where I go this way, I go that way, I do circles while laying down on a bench because gravity only pulls down. When people do that standing, it pisses me off. Lay down on a bench and do it laying down, because doing it like this literally is not doing anything for your shoulders. Do it like this and it'll actually work your shoulders. That's a whole nother conversation. But wow, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, 135 for a set of 6, 225 for 2 or 3 reps, shoulder routine, get to my working set, do a single, then start my working sets. That's how I like to warm up for really anything, but that's bench specifically. And since I spoke about the shoulder mobility routine, stretching and mobility is key. The stereotype for muscular people is that they're stiff and they have no flexibility, they just walk around and they can't move their neck. Stretch your muscles, do your mobility. I'm not asking you to be Jean-Claude Van Damme out here doing the splits. You have to take care of your flexibility and your mobility, and it will benefit you in the long run. It'll help to prevent injuries also. Lastly, this is a huge thing, developing my mind-muscle connection. So this comes from flexing in the mirror. I know it can look kind of cringe and whatever, but there's a reason why bodybuilders do so much flexing in the mirror, and it's to be able to flex each muscle individually. And being able to flex each muscle individually allows you to more effectively hit the muscle. Like, as a beginner, when you're hitting back, you probably don't feel like you're doing much for your back, and it probably feels useless because you don't know how to flex your lats. As you're working, you are flexing your lats, but you don't realize it. But if you practice in the mirror flexing your lats and you build that mind-muscle connection where you can flex them on command, now when you're training, you can purposely flex your lat to really get it working more, and you'll get even more benefit out of hitting your back workout. And this applies to all the muscles in your legs, your quads, your hamstrings, your calves, your abs, your chest, every single muscle group. It's important to be able to flex it with no weight on command, and then you'll be able to apply that to your training and get much higher quality training. All right, so now I'm gonna get into some things that I did wrong, and I'm gonna get into some things that I did wrong and that would have saved me some headache, would have saved me some time building muscle, and it would have helped me to reach my goals quicker. So the first big mistake that I made, this seems really small if you don't know, but lifting in running shoes was a huge mistake I made for a while. So think about, like, there's a reason why running shoes exist. Running shoes are soft for a reason, to cushion you hitting the ground, and it protects your joints and stuff. And there's a reason why you don't run in Vans, because they're rock hard and they're not going to protect you when you're running. Well, so the reverse applies when you're lifting. having a squishy running shoe makes you unstable. And the same way that traction is important for speed when like running or really anything, stability is the equivalent for strength. So if you're wobbling around on a shaky surface of a running shoe and you're trying to squat, it's going to significantly hinder your training. So lifting in a flat, hard bottom shoe, whether that's Vans, Converse, Air Force Ones, Jordan 1s, or just like a squat shoe, like a Nike Romelio or like Adidas Powerlift 3s or something along those lines. But a flat shoe or a flat heel raised weightlifting shoe, whatever your preference is, but you can't be lifting in running shoes. You should not be lifting in running shoes. Next is overtraining. Like I was talking about earlier with all the isolation exercises, like adding too much isolation, especially as a beginner, leads to a lot of overtraining. Training in general is a new stimuli for you. And if you're already working your muscles in a new way by starting to lift, by starting to do compound movements, and then you go and add like too many accessories, especially isolation accessories as a complete beginner, you're going to overtrain, you're going to be super sore for weeks, and it's not going to benefit you in the long run. And that ties into my next mistake, was thinking soreness equaled a good workout. There's nothing wrong with being sore after a workout, but you shouldn't be sore for an entire week. Like soreness should go away within like 2 days, 2 maybe 3 days. And it shouldn't be painful. It should be annoying. Like walking, like for example, after a leg day, walking might be a little bit annoying. Going upstairs might be a little bit annoying, but it's not unbearable pain. It's not constant leg cramps. That is way too far overtraining. Like that's rhabdomyolysis waiting to happen for you. And nobody benefits from that. And if you don't know what rhabdomyolysis is, look it up. It's basically when your muscles break down and damage your kidneys, and it's a terrible thing. People get hospitalized by it. I'm not trying to scare you, but overtraining can be very bad for you. If I was a complete beginner, I would focus on compound movement with barbells and dumbbells along with calisthenic exercises. I would focus on quality movements with great technique, and I would lean bulk my way to a muscular physique. If you want more information about my one-on-one coaching or are interested in training programs, click the link in the description of the video. It's that simple, guys. That's all I got for today's video. Peace and God bless.